Can I lose 30 pounds? No. 30 pounds in 10 days. No.
The magic that you're looking for is in the work you're avoiding. The magic that you're looking for is in the work you're avoiding.
Can I lose 10 pounds in 30 days? That is the question in this video. And by the end, I will answer that question for you. I will break down exactly how much weight I did lose, which was a lot, but we don't know. Was it 10 pounds? Was it more? Was it less? We'll find out. This seemed like a very overwhelming goal. It was a very overwhelming goal for me. The last time that I lost weight, I did it very slowly. I lost 10 pounds in 4 months, not 1 month. The way that I did it before was just through intermittent fasting. I didn't change my diet at all. I did not increase my activity level at all. I did nothing aside from just the intermittent fasting. And so I lost weight, but I lost it very slowly. And so this time with this 30-day challenge, I took things really seriously, but not crazy seriously, not only eating salads, only eating grilled chicken, that kind of thing. I really wanted to approach this in a way where I could still eat things that I like pizza, chocolate, desserts, go out to restaurants, and still enjoy myself, but also ultimately still lose weight. And really, the deeper goal here was to feel better. The problem that I was facing is that I am 40 years old. I have 2 children. My daughter is 2, and since I gave birth to her 2 years ago in 2022, I have just been completely out of shape. And to be honest with you, I was completely out of shape even before I got pregnant with her. Throughout my pregnancy, I had a really rough time. I have a whole video about postpartum preeclampsia, all that. Just suffice it to say for this video, I was very out of shape, very winded all of the time. I had a lot of pain and a lot of discomfort, and I was extremely overweight. And so for me, for what I typically was and what I probably should have gained. And so I just really struggled. And then bouncing back after pregnancy, I didn't bounce back. And I was kind of okay with that for a while. It was fine. It wasn't ideal, but I just sort of was in mom mode. I wasn't paying a lot of attention to myself. I wasn't paying a lot of attention to how I felt. And I just didn't care. But what prompted this 30-day challenge was that I was actually feeling pain. My lower back was hurting every single day. My left shoulder was freezing, and like if I tried to raise it too high, it would really hurt. And overall, I just felt crummy. I feel like this is way too young to feel as old as I have been feeling. And for a long time, I just told myself, I am never gonna be thin again. I was never going to be a small person, and that I just was always gonna wear a size extra large or large, and that was fine. That was okay. And I suppose that in some ways it is fine. There's nothing morally wrong with wearing an extra large or a large. But, we go out to like a Mother's Day brunch or a Christmas brunch, and I'll show you some photos of pictures that we got taken when we've gone out to these brunch activities. And I see all these other women, and they're wearing these really cute dresses, and they look adorable, and they're, whatever. And I just internally was feeling really down on myself. Like, oh, I guess I do kind of care what I look like. I want to feel confident walking into a room in a dress that I enjoy. And so for all of those reasons, but primarily really the health reason, my back, my shoulder, feeling out of breath all the time, not having any energy. I was always exhausted, always cranky, always just kind of blah. That's why I did it. So here are the stats. Let me share with you what I weighed at the beginning and what I did for the 30 days. Like, what was the challenge? So I started out at 189 pounds even. That was my starting weight. I have been higher than that. I think at my highest weight during pregnancy, I was probably 230 pounds. And then as of August of 2023, so 1 year ago, I was 193 pounds. So that was a little over a year postpartum. So I had lost some of the pregnancy weight. A lot of it was just water weight and swelling, and obviously the baby, she was a big baby, she was like 8.5 pounds. So I lost a lot of that right away, but then I just kind of stuck around. My pre-pregnancy weight was about 173 right before I got pregnant, just for reference. So anyway, my starting weight for this challenge was 189. And the things that I decided to do for the 30-day challenge were very, very simple. When I initially came up with the idea for this challenge, I named it, being kind to my body. The idea was really not to lose a ton of weight really fast. It was really just be nice to my body, move every morning, whatever that looked like. And I also heard some research that walking 8,000 steps per day is sort of the delineating mark between, if you average over 8,000 steps a day, you are much less likely to have significant health problems. And if you walk less than 8,000 steps per day, or you average less than 8,000 steps per day, then you have increased risk for all of those things. So I thought, 8,000 steps is doable. 10,000 steps to me always sounded like this pie in the sky kind of a number, so I never even attempted it, honestly, in the past. So 8,000 felt doable, reasonable, fine. Movement every day, 8,000 steps per day. And then as far as food and nutrition, again, I kept it really simple. When I start tacking a lot of things on to any challenge, that is when the challenge crumbles after like 3 days. So I decided to just keep it really simple. So with the nutrition, again, initially, my parameter was that I was just going to do intermittent fasting for 18 to 20 hours every single day. That was it. I wasn't gonna restrict calories. I wasn't gonna count calories. I wasn't gonna change what I was eating. I was just gonna make sure that I was really on it in terms of the timing of the intermittent fasting. So fasting 18 to 20 hours a day. Now, as I got into the challenge and started experiencing what it felt like to make some of these improvements, and I kept listening to more information and watching more videos and just being inspired, the things that I was committing to changed and kind of got solidified into what the challenge ended up being from the middle to the end. I got up every morning early and walked for about 20 to 30 minutes. Did decide to start tracking my calories. I have been so resistant to that for my whole life.
The magic that you're looking for is in the work you're avoiding.
Mostly because I grew up doing ballet, and there is just so much focus on restriction and so much focus on how little a person should have. And I just, once I sort of broke free from that world, I just never really wanted to think about calories, honestly, which is probably how I gained as much weight as I did, but it's a story for another time. So I humbled myself. I submitted to tracking my calories. One of the most influential people that I have been listening to and watching throughout this time has been half of Carla. She is incredible. She's from Ireland. She did a program called Body Slims. I am not affiliated with Body Slims. I'm not affiliated with half of Carla. I have nothing to do with them except that I have been watching her religiously for the last month and taking in every bit of wisdom that she's had. And I will link her channel in the description of this video because I think she is amazing and everyone should watch her. One of the things that Carla says a lot is just following the program 100% is way easier than half-assing it. In the past, when I have done weight loss, when I've tried to lose weight, I have said, oh, I'm gonna work out 3 days a week, or oh, I'm gonna work out 5 days a week, or oh, I'm gonna do this diet, but I can cheat on the weekends, or I can have a glass of wine on this day, but not these other days. And honestly, for me, that doesn't work because moderation is a very tricky concept for my brain to understand. So what was helpful during this 30-day process was that I was just doing the same thing every single day. Every day, same. I was walking every day. I was intermittent fasting every day, and I started tracking my calories every day. And there was no cheat day, nothing like that. Now, I will say, there were days where I said I was counting my calories. I was not restricting them. I just was paying attention to them. So there were days where, like for instance, one day we went to California Pizza Kitchen, and not sponsored, but we went to California Pizza Kitchen and I was already done for the day. I had already finished eating for the day. I felt full in my stomach, felt full, I felt satisfied. But my husband wanted to go out and I thought, well, I've already stopped eating for the day, but I could push the fast a little later the next day and make it work. But I had really already eaten the calories that I needed for the day. So this whole meal at California Pizza Kitchen was over and above what my goal was. And I chose to do that. And it was okay. It was all right. But I really was in tune with my body and noticing afterwards, like, I should have waited. I should have gotten the whole pizza. I love their wild mushroom pizza. I should have gone and gotten the pizza in a box and saved it for the next day. And then gone to town the next day when I had all of my calories available. So as I moved forward in the process, there were definitely days where I was over my calorie allowance by, I don't know, anywhere from 400 to 1,000 calories over and beyond. And I still was losing weight, which was amazing. But I guess my point is I was going for this 100%, right? Like I was doing the same thing every single day, but I was also not being absurd. I wasn't being like over the top with my rules for myself. And I think every person who wants to lose weight needs to figure out what that balance is for them. One of the other things that I did do every day that I'm not going to show you any imagery of because it would be wildly inappropriate, but I did weigh myself every morning. I know there are different schools of thought on that, on weighing every day. I think for me, weighing myself every day was helpful just to see sort of that immediate feedback as to, okay, this is what I did on this day, and now the next morning, how did that go? How did my body respond to that? And of course, there's always going to be fluctuations, whether or not you've had a bowel movement, whether or not you had a lot of water or a lot of salt or something like that. And so the weight loss on a day-to-day basis is not always going to be reflecting fat loss. I do understand that on a logical level, but it was still really nice to see the number generally either maintaining or going down most days. But there were some days, there were some days that it did not go down. And especially towards the end of the challenge, I was very upset when that happened. It is day 27 of my 30-day challenge, and I am a little defeated. And I was so excited to get on the scale this morning because I don't know, I've had worse, much less active days than that, and I've had days where I've had a lot more food. So, and I still lost weight the next morning, so I was really excited to get on the scale and see it go down. That did not happen. There were days where I felt like I had done everything that I was supposed to do or everything that I had set out to do, and I still didn't get the results that I wanted. But then there were other days where I knew, like the pizza day, I knew for sure that I was not gonna go down the next morning. So I was mentally prepared. But I think the important thing that I learned from that experience of weighing every single day is that, yes, when it goes down, I do feel happy, but I also have to remind myself that the number on the scale is like a bonus. It's not the end-all, be-all reflection of my progress or my health. So while I would like it to continue trending down, if it fluctuates a little bit here and there by a few ounces, it's not something to be upset about or to, fret about. So what were the things that worked for me? The things that worked were dance parties. If I wasn't getting my 8,000 steps towards the end of the day, I could easily have a dance party with my family, which was so fun. I highly recommend. And that was also just a great way to connect with my family. It was a fun way, like my husband was really into it. When you have a toddler, of course they're really into it. We also did a lot of family walks in the evening, so that's in addition to the walks that I was doing in the morning. I set my alarm every single day for a while I was setting it for 6 o'clock, but then I found that was not early enough, unfortunately. Especially on days where I had to work. I work 2 or 3 days a week. I own my own business. So there's 2 or 3 days a week where I actually take my daughter to daycare. On those days, it was really important that I got up earlier. And now I'm finding that honestly, if I get up by 5:30, that's better. That's for me. I don't know what your life looks like, but what I found is that the earlier I was getting up, the better. That did have some, there was some resistance to that. It was hard. I didn't like it. I really didn't like it. But, one of the things that Carla from Half of Carla says a lot in her videos is that you don't have to like it. Liking it is not a requirement, but doing it is. So if you've committed to something, you don't have to like it. You don't have to wait for a moment of inspiration. You don't have to wait until you feel like it. You actually just need to do it, whether you enjoy it or not. And so for me, I am a morning person, but I'm not that much of a morning person. So waking up at 5 or 5:30 is not my favorite, but I do it. And I do it because then I am able to fully reach my goals, accomplish everything that I need to accomplish in the morning, and I really, really enjoy it. So some of the challenges that I faced along the way, probably challenges that most people, especially people who have children, will experience. One big one was that my daughter would wake up early sometimes. There's nothing to be done about that. Another thing that was really rough was hunger. Today's day 19 of this challenge. I am down over 5 pounds, which is amazing. It's after 4 o'clock and I am still craving something sweet. I think it's because I'm unhappy. Why am I unhappy? I don't know. I'm tired. I don't know that it's I'm mad or sad or anything. I'm just really tired and low energy. So yeah, I'm noticing really wanting more chocolate. And I bought these little Atkins chocolate clusters, pecan caramel clusters, and they're delicious, and it's only 60 calories per little packet, and they're really tasty. But I ended my eating window like 2 hours ago. So is 60 calories or 120 calories, is that gonna destroy my progress? No. Plus, I was also thinking, oh, I'll just make myself another coffee. But if I want the kind of coffee that I like, there's a lot of fat and there's a lot of calories. That's like 200 calories if I do that, which would be more than if I just did this. So in my mind, I was like, oh, well, if I'm gonna have the coffee anyway, I might as well just have the pecan clusters. And now I was like, maybe I should just have some lemon ginger tea and call the whole thing off. So I don't know. I know I'm not hungry. Like my stomach is not hungry. It's just like my mouth is hungry. Do you know how that feels? Like when your mouth wants to eat something. So that's where I'm at. What am I gonna do? What am I gonna do? What's it gonna be? Boop. I ended up going with the lemon tea. I put some cinnamon in it. This is a really big win for me. There were some mornings where I was hungry way before my fast was supposed to end. So even though, like when you're doing a 20-hour fast, that's a long time. It's, obviously it's almost a whole 24 hours. Even if I finished eating at 2 or 3 in the afternoon, I would still have to wait until late morning before I could eat again the next day. And so there were some mornings where I was really hungry and I wanted to just like grab a bagel or just eat cereal, eat junk, eat whatever. What I did that helped was I have these packets of Element, LMNT. I'll put a link in the description. It's an electrolyte powder and I really like it. It is 1,000 milligrams of sodium though, so if you have concerns, I probably shouldn't be taking in 1,000 milligrams of sodium myself with my high blood pressure, but what are you gonna do? So talk to your doctor about that if you have concerns. But I really like the Element electrolyte mix, and they make a chocolate caramel one, and so I just put that in my morning coffee. That was the other thing that really helped is every morning I put a tablespoon of coconut oil in my coffee, and then I also put half and half cream and some cinnamon, and I stir it up, and it is amazing. Some people consider that breaking their fast. I do not. And if it does interrupt, autophagy or ketosis or whatever, fine, whatever. At least I'm not eating 700 calories of breakfast. So that is what works for me with my fasting. But I did have that coffee every day, and then the days when I was really struggling, I put that electrolyte mix in there, and it would really hold me over for an extra few hours until I was able to break my fast. Big lesson that I learned during this 30-day challenge was that succeeding, and not even just succeeding with the actual weight loss, but succeeding with setting out a plan, sticking to the plan every day, and feeling better along the way, that was more important to me and more satisfying to me to succeed at that than breaking my rules, right? Like that was more satisfying to me than sleeping in late and skipping my walk. And I think the big lesson there is, and again, this is another thing I've learned from Half of Carla. I feel like I owe my weight loss this month to her, honestly. I mean, to myself for doing the actual work, but to her for her inspiration and her channel and what she has shared about her experience. So another thing from her is making friends with discomfort.
One of the things when I was losing 180 pounds is that I had to learn to be okay with discomfort and stop catastrophizing discomfort, because that's what I used to do. I used to believe that the discomfort of being hungry, slightly hungry, the discomfort of having to go for a walk, the discomfort of changing was not worth the effort.
discomfort is just uncomfortable. It's just a little uncomfy. And I am strong enough and capable enough to sit with discomfort until it passes. I like to be comfortable. I, of course, prefer to be comfortable, but throughout this process, engaging in anything that is a higher purpose, I think it's going to require discomfort. And so that is really all that being hungry is discomfort. That is, I mean, like hunger, not starvation. I understand that there are people who are truly hungry, but in my case, that's not what we're dealing with. I have too much food in this house, quite frankly. I just got back from Costco, as a matter of fact. So I am not in any danger of starving. I am not in any danger of being hungry. And so when I feel like I want to eat something and it's not time for a meal and it's not within my hours of my eating window, I think that is an opportunity for me to just be with myself, check in with my body. Am I truly hungry or am I tired? Am I truly hungry or am I sad? Am I truly hungry? Am I anxious? Am I truly hungry or, whatever it might be. And when I did that exercise over the course of the last 30 days, honestly, every single time that it came up, I was not hungry physically. I was satisfied. It was a matter of wanting to experience something, wanting to taste something, wanting to smell something, wanting to chew on something. But it was not a matter of my body needs it for fuel. So I think that was really important for me to kind of get a grasp on, the difference between those two things. And I think the biggest lesson overall has been, it's a mindset shift from, I'm not the kind of person who can do this. I'm not the kind of person who can ever be thin. I am just old now. I am a mom now. I had a C-section. I'm not disciplined, really. Historically, I have not been a disciplined person or a structured person. And I don't like to diet. I don't like to be uncomfortable. So this is just the body I'm gonna have. And the pains and the aches and the other physical issues that come with that are just what it's gonna be. And I had to go from that to, I can be disciplined. Of course I can be thin again if I really want to. Another concept from Body Slims is a dare to dream goal, having a dare to dream goal. And to me, that was also such a big shift of, when I initially set out to do this and lose weight, I thought, okay, I can maybe, like I said, I started out 189 pounds, so almost 190 pounds. I'm 5'5". I thought, maybe I can get down to 150. That would be good. I can get down to 150 pounds. It'll be hard. I haven't seen that weight in a very long time. Over 10 years, I have not been that thin, but I could do that. And shifting from that to, but what do I want? If I could lose as much weight as I wanted to lose without any issues, what do I want to weigh? And what I want to weigh is 135 pounds. 135 pounds. That is my dare to dream goal. And I don't know if I'll get there for sure. I don't know what that would look like or how long that would take, but why not? Why not throw it out there into the universe and see? I mean, it's perfectly reasonable with my height and my body build. I weighed 135 pounds when I was in my 20s. My body can weigh that. So why not try? And then if I never get there, okay, that's fine. But I think if I limited myself to, I can only get down to 150 and that's the lowest I'll ever be, why? Why would I limit myself? Why would I limit myself? Why not try? Why not see how it goes? And I am hesitant to mention goal weights and specific numbers, but if I'm speaking to you, hopefully Hopefully you're hearing what I'm saying and taking it in and then applying it to yourself in a way that makes sense for you. Finding your own goal weight is up to you. Just because I want to be 135 pounds doesn't mean you should be 135 pounds. Your goal should be based on your health and your body and your height and your hormones and build and all of that stuff. So just wanted to put that little disclaimer in there. But for me, that would be my dream goal. If I get anywhere close to that, like 140, 145, that would be incredible too. But I'm gonna try. Speaking of numbers and goals, I think we have reached the point in this video where I can share with you what I accomplished in 30 days. So if you have stuck with me for this whole video, your prize is that you get to know how much weight I lost and also whether or not my aches and pains disappeared. They did. The aches and pains are almost completely gone. My shoulder feels so much better. I think it was simply the act of becoming more active that helped with the shoulder. And my lower back pain, it's not terrible. It's really not. It's a lot more manageable. It is less. And I am not taking any pain medication. I'm so glad that becoming more active helped with that. The other thing that was extremely positive is just the energy that I feel. After a few days, literally just a few days of intentionally waking up early, doing some sort of movement every morning, my husband came out into the kitchen and he said, "Oh, how are you?" I said, "I feel good. I feel good." And he's like, "I don't think I've heard you say that ever. I cannot remember the last time you said that." And it just really hit me that when you neglect yourself, when I neglected myself for all of that time, for all of these years, it was hurting. It was hurting me. Again, even after just a few days, my energy shifted. My optimism was way more present. I am typically a pretty pragmatic, glass half empty kind of person. And since I've started working out, and since, not even working out, but like just walking, since I've started walking and dancing more and listening to more music and listening to more inspirational stories and positive things instead of constantly listening to true crime and all these negative things, I feel better. I just feel better. That's just a very general sense of feeling better. And then the weight loss. So on day 31, I got on my scale like I did every morning, and my final weight was 180.2. So I lost 8.8 pounds, which is incredible. Almost 9 pounds, not quite 10 pounds, but I think it is an amazing achievement. It is more than 2 pounds per week for the whole 4 weeks. And I'm just really proud of myself. I honestly never thought that this was something that I could do. I thought this was something that other people could do, and it just wasn't true. I can do it too. I historically was not a disciplined person. I was not somebody who followed rules or liked to be told what to do. I was not somebody who ever wanted to restrict my eating. And I was not somebody who wanted to wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning and be part of the 5 a.m. club. But here we are, more than 30 days later, and I am still consistent with all of these things that I set up for myself. And I've lost 8.8 pounds, and I'm just gonna keep going. Everything just feels more hopeful. I feel better, and I think I can keep going. And so if you would like to join me on this journey, you could do a couple things. Number one, you can subscribe. So that's easy peasy, super free, super simple. And then the other thing that you could do is I have a brand new email list where I am gonna put out a weekly newsletter, just a little simple, inspirational, article every week that I write, and that's gonna go out. And then through that email list and through future videos, you will also be kept in the loop when I start my accountability group. So that is coming. My plan is to have it start in October so that people can have support and accountability from October all the way through the holidays. I know that is a really rough time for a lot of people, especially with schedules being all over the place and stress, and just keep each other grounded. Maybe the goal during that time isn't to lose a bunch of weight, but really just to stay present, keep our goals in mind, and just move through those months as present as we can be and as connected as we can be, so that when January 1st rolls around, we're not panicking and feeling disgusting and feeling like, oh my gosh, I have to start from scratch. I would love it if we could just take the end of this year and roll it into the new year with momentum. So that is my vision. I've already started my next 30-day challenge, which I am doing ballet every day for 30 days because I used to be a ballet dancer. You can follow along for that. If ballet is not your thing, that's okay. You don't have to do that with me, but I encourage you to pick something that you want to do for 30 days, just 1 or 2 small things, nothing crazy, and just see how it can change your life. So thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.